Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Emoti-kaun series, session 21. So, when we started off, we spoke about uh, the emotion of love. That is what we were speaking about for a very long time. So we spoke about love towards ourselves and how what stops us from loving ourselves. And then we touched upon a little bit of loving other people. What does love language mean, and so on and so forth. And today we're going to talk about loving life. So, a question just generally open to everybody is what do you mean by loving life? What does it mean?
You, you, okay, loving life. Okay, the other day I was hearing what is that? Uh, uh, Kapil show,
Hmm.
Kapil Sharma show, and in that Govinda was being interviewed,
Okay.
and Govinda says that why Shah Rukh Khan sustained a long career, and why Govinda not? Okay,
Okay.
so there was some question related to that was being asked by Kapil.
Hmm.
And then Govinda says Shah Rukh Khan is a smart, intelligent, uh, and he studied well. And a couple of things he did very well. The first thing what he says is he loved himself more than anybody.
Okay.
Okay, rest of the topic is something different, but I think it struck me probably. For being successful or being want to be very satisfied, fulfilling, you need to have, you need to, I mean, the way you are, however you are, whoever you are, should accept. Acceptance is the uh, primary criteria. This is what I understand so far in my life.
Definitely. Definitely. We've spoken a great deal about acceptance, self-acceptance, why it is very difficult. So there need to be constant reminders that we give to ourselves, or we reach out to people who remind us that we are all unique, and we all have the right to live happy, healthy lives. So this is also a question to Soumya. What does your understanding, or what is your take on what loving life?
First, I heard Loving Light, and I'm like, what is that? I missed something for sure. Okay, but yes, Loving Life. So, what I get from what you said, and when I hear Mr. Reddy speak, is that, we have ups and downs in our life. Some days are good, some days are bad. But whatever is happening, however we are, wherever we are, just to be grateful that yes, we are breathing, and that's the greatest gift of life. And just that is what it means to be grateful, to have this moment, to be alive. That's what loving life is. It's it's a good thing to remind yourself, especially when you're stressed out and hundreds of things may seem like going wrong, but you're still alive, and that's one more moment, one more day, one more opportunity to live.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's what I get out of it.
definitely. I appreciate that response. Like, there's so many times when clients come to us, or we ourselves, sometimes kind of spend so much time in worrying about things. Oh, will this go the right way? Will this not go the right way? Will it work out? Will I get what I want? Oh my God, why are things not happening the way I want them to? So, and sometimes when I look at a bird or I look at an ant, and I'm like, I'm sure they don't have these worries, right? They're just on their way doing their stuff, and it's just that much. I think the capacity of thought that human beings have is both a blessing and not one, because then a lot of times we get entangled in our own thoughts and we forget the grandiose that is life, you know. I think the biggest gift, like they say this in so many spiritual schools as well, they say it in schools of therapies as well, that being born as a human is one of the most amazing experiences that you can have, because you can experience life and all its beauty or all its power in so much detail, right? That probably an ant or a butterfly or a dog or a cat may not be able to. Of course, don't ask me how do you know that they are not able to, but human beings are fairly, that's why we are also called evolved. Dragging this conversation back to the Mahabharata, I was just, again, once again, I'm rewatching the entire series obsessively so. And I realized that the Pandavas have so much struggle, right? Even threat to their lives, or like even Bhishma Pitama for that matter, is very interesting, you know. Whenever he's conflicted or something is going wrong, the gentleman seems to have lived for more than 130 years in his life. So through 130 years of seeing life for what it is and things happening, good things happening, not so good things happening, mostly not so good things happening. And he always comes back to his mother and he's like, I never got the love of both my parents together. No, because half the time he was with his mother, and then Gaga says, okay, fine, now it's time for me to hand you over there. And then he spent some time with his father, and then the other things happen. So these ups and downs of life are like so intense for all of them. Like Pandavas being threatened, they are fairly okay. They get great education because they still come back to Hastinapur. Then there is this conspiracy of them putting them in a wax house, and then all the trouble begins and all of that. And I kept wondering, like, you know, looking at them saying that, did they even have time to enjoy life? You know, half the times these buggers are roaming about in the forest, either, you know, trying to survive or getting their right or whatever that is, no? So, like, did they, and a couple of episodes show that very beautifully, because there is uh, there is a great deal of going with the flow, being where you are. So I just finished watching that episode where you know, they escape from the wax palace, and then they take refuge in one of the villages where there is a demon called Bakasur, and they live with a Brahmin family. And the Brahmin family has to, it's their turn to go and feed the demon, which in which case the family member also gets eaten up and stuff like that. So they also, like, they offer that, you know, you've given us refuge, so it's our duty to kind of, you know, protect you, and we are a part of your family kind. And once Bakasur is killed and all of that, all the villagers come to felicitate this Brahmin family. And they're like, no, no, we didn't do anything. These people, some people who are living with us, but by then they have already left, you know, and they've left and they have gone on their way back into the forest. And they are so content with what they have done, or the help that they have offered, or the decisions that they have taken. It's just amazing to see, to a great extent, how content they were, you know, with everything, except for the dilemma when, you know, they have to fight the war, not to fight the war, blah, and all of that. But I think, adding to what Mr. Reddy said and what Sowmiya said, apart from acceptance and gratitude for life, I think we still come back to the same thing of loving life being a choice. The minute you set an intention that I wish to see beautiful things, uh, I think you will be shown beautiful things. You want to see miracles, you will be shown miracles. I think this is a very beautiful thing in Access, right, Soumya? Uh, in Access only, right? I choose to see the Show Me universe.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. And also, interestingly, so when you are shown something, when you are asking for something, you want this, You should also ask for the capacity to recognize it when it's coming your way. Because
Yeah.
we sometimes have that set notion that this is what beauty is, or this is what a miracle is. I am supposed to feel a certain way only when this happens. And we are setting those limits, we're setting those boundaries. So we are not open to actually something great coming our way, and we don't have the capacity to recognize it. That can be one of our shortfalls.
Yeah. So it's primarily a training your mind to see or think that way, right, over a period of time. And that is where all these gratitude journals or thanking the universe or affirmations and all of these come into play, because it's whether or not something is happening outside you, something will definitely change inside you. You'll be able to see what pretty things are, just as simple as that. So I think to a great extent, uh, loving life will become a choice. If you wish to see something, you will have to tell yourself that life is bigger than this problem. It is bigger than our problems, right? It is bigger than what we feel in this moment. Our feelings are so fickle. Today we are worried about not finishing our syllabus in time, and by the time uh, the syllabus gets over, the class gets over, we're like, yeah, what was I worried about? We're so fickle like that. So you kind of understand the temporariness of, if that's a word called temporariness, the temporariness of these feelings and these thoughts, and the only thing that makes these feelings stay is us, or the perception that these feelings will be the way they are, right? So, to a great extent, I think loving life will require us to train ourselves to say that, yeah, this too shall pass. It's a fleeting feeling. I feel like this today. I may not feel like this 2 days later, or even half an hour later, for that matter. No, that's how fickle emotions are. Like half an hour later, we may not feel any of these pressures or any of these worries or any of these feelings at all. And then when you look back and you question, what do I feel worried about? Exactly. And then you're like, okay, I think so. That leads us to the concept of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjun faces like such a big dilemma. In fact, even before Arjun faces a dilemma and Gita happens, the Bhagavad Gita happens, there's a great deal of flux that is happening in that entire household, right? The household, when I say household, we're talking about the kingdom. And there is a party that is very, very clear about what they want in life. That's Duryodhan, possibly. Duryodhan and Shakuni and Dushasan and possibly a little bit of Karna. They know, they're very clear about what they want 90% of the time. धृतराष्ट्र से लेके वो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चालू हो जाता है. It starts saying that, okay, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? I'm a king, I'm a father, I don't know what to do. Oh my God. Uh, then trickling down to other people, trickling down to Bhishma, trickling down to Vidur, trickling down to Pandavas and Kunti, Gandhari, like everybody else apart from this particular gang is highly conflicted. What does it take to look beyond these conflicting emotions? Like, this is a question that's open to both of you. Like, it's just not that I know the answer, but it's because when we are conflicted about something in our own mind, to do this or not to do this, to do this or not to do this, what gives us clarity?
But before that, because you were talking about Duryodhan and Shakuni, who were clear about what they wanted, certain amount of clarity. I'm sorry, I'm not as well versed with the Mahabharata as you are. But did they ever have even that small niggle of doubt that, okay, maybe no? So is that what it is? That, it doesn't matter a right or a wrong, a good or a bad, but just the conviction of something that you believe in. And that's what leads you to feeling, yes, I've done a good job. And yes, I'm on the path that I'm supposed to be on. Is that what it is? Because when you're clear about the conviction, no doubts. This is what I want. And usually, so people who we view as the bad ones have that clear convictions, and the ones who are right in many ways and good in many ways have the confusion. What is that about?
The moral dilemma, right? Because somehow I think these so-called good people feel that the doubt of, will I survive if I continue on this path? Will I survive? Or more than will I survive, is it all worth it? Is this all worth it? And I think, is this all worth it? Is a war worth it? Is asked by so many people to avoid that conflict on this side of the family, that's Pandavas. And so they go back to constantly go back to Krishna, and they are like, okay, what do we do? Okay, what do we do? Right? What do we do? They go back to Krishna, say, what do we do? What should we do? And 90% of the time, 95% of the time, both of them say the same thing. Shanti is the way out. Shanti is the way out. Forgiveness is the way out. And the other people are getting so upset because although they know that to be a better choice, it's just the unfairness of it all kind of drags them down. So again, they are like willing to bend backwards and say that, okay, fine, we don't want like much. Just give us like 5 villages and we'll be like happy with it. Just 5 villages, 5 small villages, and then we'll be happy with it. And they are given like the most under whatever, like a barren piece of land, and like something, some places they're not like a great grandiose place, very mediocre places and stuff like that. And they, with their hard work, like transform it, Khandavprast, they transform it into Indraprasth, and then they make it glorious. And then there is jealousy and blah and all of that that still happens. So to a great extent, I think these cutting through the conflict uh, primarily means, probably means to be okay with what we are doing. Like, I think Duryodhan never had this conflict. So he was okay with himself, you know. He was angry, but he was okay with himself. He thought he was right. Like Shakuni is like a very interesting character for me because the revenge anger or the revenge rage is like so high. I'm like, wow, can a person really go that far? Apparently they can. And, and then to take the onus or the responsibility of the death of a clan. I think we ask ourselves these questions, right? When we are conflicted, is it worth all of this? Is it worth any of this? Uh, and if I do really get what I want, what I think I want, will I be happier? Will I not be happier? Again, coming back to the access question, Sowmiya, do you want to do the lighter, heavier thing?
When we have these kind of confusions that happen, and so all the prisons, the jails that we put ourselves in, and the implants that we bind ourselves into in this reality, are you willing to uncreate and destroy it at all?
Yeah,
I
we
don't know. Good
definitely
and
do.
bad, broken for or hundreds.
So
Short
is it
story.
same? Okay, sorry.
The concept of access consciousness says that anything that is not, that you are not okay with, you will feel it to be heavy in your body or in your mind. Whatever is not, you are not okay with, or whatever is not good for you, will feel heavy in the body, and whatever is okay will feel light. So whenever we are faced with a conflict, whenever we are faced with confusions, whenever we are faced with something which is a dilemma, we just ask ourselves one question: how do I let go of this heaviness? By doing what? And that is probably our answer to releasing what is not good for us. And as the heaviness exits our space, automatically we embrace lightness, and then we embrace clarity, and then with clarity we are able to see better, decide better, and do what is the right thing for us in that particular space. Yeah, I think it's a very powerful tool, or it's like a dipstick, it's like a litmus paper test where you put in and you say, is it feeling heavy? Is it feeling light? And that gives you the answer to whether you should keep this emotion or not keep this emotion, whether you should go on this path or not go on this. Yeah. So by and large, uh, this is like a little 0.001% of how we look at life. It's far more grandiose. Like there are several scriptures, several schools of thought. There are several ascended masters who have written about what life is, or what how we should approach, what we should aim for in life, and so on and so forth. If we get an opportunity to do that, we will go that route as well. But as of now, we to summarize all of this, we look at acceptance of whatever of ourselves first, and then the minute we accept ourselves, the easier it will be for us to accept life. Then we spoke about gratitude and the ability to look at the beautiful things, the ability to recognize beautiful things, and be how do you achieve clarity or conviction of your own self is a litmus test of checking whether your body is feeling heavy. Are you feeling heavier, or are you feeling lighter? If you're feeling heavier, what will it take for you to release the heaviness and embrace lightness? Automatically, it'll open up your mind, giving you more clarity about what needs to be done, and then possibly embrace life for how it goes. So that brings us to the end of today. What we're going to talk about today. We will continue this discussion in a couple of sessions more with a little more deeper insight into this matter. All right. So, okay. See you.
Yeah. Thank you. So I